This program is brought to you by thepodcastfactory.com.
How would you like to get more customers, make more profits, and have bigger breakthroughs? Get Doberman Dan's profit-boosting breakthroughs. Normally, this would cost you $98 per month, but right now, for listening to this show, he's giving you a free copy of his Doberman Dan letter. All you have to do is go to DobermanDan.com and sign up to get your free copy now.
Prepare yourself for the uncensored, nothing held back, no BS reality of how business and life really work. Doberman Dan is off the chain.
Welcome back, Canine Crew, for another enlightening edition of the Off the Chain Show. Here is your host, Mr. Doberman Dan.
I can't guarantee it'll be enlightening. The goal is hopefully it'll be somewhat entertaining. I don't know about enlightening. That's rather presumptuous of you.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm out of line. See, this is the new announcer gig has me all messed up.
You're setting the expectations way too high for me.
Listen, we're going to talk in your ear.
Can we set those a lot lower? Just set it up like, welcome back. Dan's going to talk. You know, he might even say something that makes sense. And then there's all the pressure off of me. Enlightening. Now I have to be enlightening.
Oh, crap. Illuminating.
So, all right, I'll give it a shot. Let me illuminate to this. How many guitar players does it take to change a light bulb?
3.
Well, you're close. It's actually 6. 1 guitar player to change a light bulb and 5 others to stand around with their arms crossed talking about how much better they could have done it. Now, that may or may not make sense to you. The musicians get it and the guitar players really get it. Guitar players are, man, if you think women get catty with other women, and they sure can, you haven't seen guitar players, man. Guitar players are cruel. Like, playing music is some sort of competition, and they all got to put down the other guy. By the way, I've talked about this before, Jonathan. I never wanted to do any of this stuff that I'm doing now. I wanted to be a professional musician, and my instrument was the guitar. So, but I like sleeping indoors and eating with somewhat regularly. And I didn't figure out a way to do that with music. So I wound up here. But in my musical life, which is still going on, it's just I don't have to do it for a living now. But my musical life as a guitar player, occasional songwriter, performer, and now I guess I can claim the producer credit since I released my last CD. I've run into guitarists all the time who talk a big game, but they just can't seem to get anything done. They'll like record a bunch of stuff, but, or write some tunes. They never finish them, or they write snippets, a little song snippets or riffs, as we call them. Yeah, this is a cool riff. I'll make a song out of it. They never get around to completing it. They've got, all these great CD ideas in their heads, or maybe some have actually finished recording stuff. They never distribute it. They have great ideas for bands they're going to start. They never start them. Or they join a band and they immediately quit. Or they join a band or start a band. They never gig. They never play out. But yet these guys, I say guys because really like very few women. Again, Jonathan, what the heck is going on with the women in this country? They seem to have their shit together. And us guys are flaky. What's going on with that? So in this example, it's guys. They consider themselves active musicians. They'll hang out at the music store and talk about all this stuff like they're really doing it. But, they ain't doing it. They produce nothing tangible. They create no art. They create no music. And for whatever reason, I still don't get this. They take out their lack of accomplishment, or I probably should say their lack of balls, by making fun of, by taking shots at those who actually do create something. Now, listen, whether it's good or not, if you create something, it's going to be evaluated, criticized, trashed, maybe praised. That's a possibility. Well, if you're talking about other guitars, no, probably not. It's going to be trashed and criticized. But if you create nothing, you just talk about all the stuff you're going to do and all your good ideas, you'll never be criticized. So that's great news for those who never do anything, because they can attack the creators without any fear of retribution. In other words, they've got no risk of being criticized and being trashed and being made fun of for the musical ideas or the art or the song or whatever, or the concert that remains in their crusty cranium, that just remains in their head. They never actually do it. So this guitar player thing, by the way, any guitar players listening to this just totally gets it. This guitar players taking pot shots at each other is basically a boring cliche at this point. We all know that. But it's crazy to disparage the work of others when you don't produce work yourself. I mean, trust me, I get it. I dig the First Amendment, man. I'm all for that. But this isn't about that. This is about having the professional courtesy and the politeness, or should I say grace, maybe even the grace to keep your frickin' mouth shut if you ain't in the game. You dig? And by the way, so I started talking about guitar players because, I don't know if you can tell this, Jonathan, I had a recent incident. So, I struggled releasing that CD of mine, which you can find on CD Baby. Just look for Doberman Dan on there. You can find my solo CD on there. I've had guitar players taking pot shots at me for that. Yeah, I mean, it didn't turn out even close to how I wanted it to turn out. But that wasn't the goal of doing it. The goal was just to do it, just to finish something. Just the goal was to create, and not create in my head, and not create something and hide it in my closet because I'm scared shitless of the critics. No, it was to create and put it out there because it will resonate with somebody, and somebody will like it and get some joy out of it. But so that's what got me started thinking about guitar players. But this ain't what I just described, the scared shitless, thumb-sucking losers who are so afraid to step outside their comfort zone, but yet they're so eager to take pot shots at those who do. That ain't restricted to just guitar players. In fact, kind of funny, the online marketing world is exactly like this. In fact, the entire world is like this. Just accept it, all right? No matter what you do, those folks are gonna attack you. So entrepreneurs are probably some of the most vilified people in this country. I mean, the government is trying to destroy you. You are public enemy number one to the government. And if you've achieved any level of success, you've also probably found out the people closest to you are attacking you too, because they don't have the balls to do what you've done and do what you're doing. So in their just puny, pathetic, pussified minds, them attacking you somehow elevates them in their screwed up heads. Listen, just accept it. Those people, no matter what you do, they're out there. There's nothing you can do about it. And I used to plan my revenge on these people in my head. I mean, I'd plan on stuff I was going to do. I was going to show them, whatever it was, how much money I was making, some sort of material thing I bought, whip out a wad of, shove the Rolex in their face, whip out a wad of cash and wave it in their face. Or, just talk about, oh, well, it sucks you have to go to work. Yeah, I planned this out in my head. By the way, I never did it though, but yeah, I mean, I used to kind of enjoy thinking about the revenge. Listen, I had 10 years of coworkers and friends making fun of me. And that was painful because those 10 years was serial entrepreneurial failure for me. So I guess I got some sort of sick pleasure planning out my revenge when I was successful. But, when I was finally successful, I never tried to get revenge because I realized this. There's nothing you could possibly do to these people that could be worse than the sad, pathetic little lives they're already living. I mean, trust me, it's really, really sucky for them. And so nothing you could do or say to extract your revenge is any worse than what they've created for themselves. So your revenge, my dear friend, my dear listener, my beloved entrepreneur, your revenge is who you are and who you're becoming. This is all about the process of growth, man. I mean, yeah, a lot of us went into it for the money, but the real emotional driver beneath that was the desire to become something better than we were, something bigger than we were. The money is just an extra little side benefit. So your revenge is the person you have become and the person you are becoming in the process, and basking in the glow of that, in the glow of living your life according to your rules, because that's something that the critics will never be able to do.
Boom. Nice. So, Dan, are you going to drop the mic now or anything else you want to say to the Canine crew?
Well, I wanted to drop the mic at the end of that and, do peace, I'm out, but my mic's on a boom stand, so
puts a damper in
so
your
here,
plans.
let me just hit it. There we go. Peace, I'm out. I said what I came to say, and there ain't nothing more to say.
What's interesting is all those critics, those guys that aren't doing anything, it kind of reminds me of the person that you were describing in the last episode where they have no life experience, they have no grit, and they're going to coach you. It's like, who the hell are you to tell me anything? You haven't even earned anything in your own right. So, take a walk.
Well, if you knew some of the insider details, you might be really surprised at how many people are standing on a stage who have not paid the price to be there and don't have their own real experience to back that up.
Here's an interesting thing. You know me pretty well, and you probably know that I am an addict. I'm addicted to software, to info products, to newsletters. I'm always looking for any edge to get me ahead. And I take whatever I learn, apply it to my business, figure out if it works or not. And if it works, great, keep it. If it doesn't, just toss it. And I signed up for this course to help me get some traffic in, and I had a consulting session and stuff like that. And the guy asked me, he's a smart guy, pretty well known and connected to some people that I really respect. That's why I signed up. It was like 2 G's. But he asked me, one of the first questions was, all right, so who are you trying to sell this to? Because it's for the podcasting production services. And he's like, are you trying to sell this to people who are already authorities in their market, like the people you've described who are on stages and doing coaching and stuff like that? Or are you trying to sell this to business owners who want authority? And I thought about it for a second and I said, I think my market is going to be people who actually have a business. He's like, good choice, because most people who are authorities don't really have a business. So it just lends credibility to what you are saying right now.
Well, I mean, there's a formula that at least it was a formula that I thought that existed and that I believed in and that I believe in. And that is, do something great and then teach others how to do something great. So you kind of can't get those backwards. You can't start, I'm going to do something great. And here's what I'm going to do great. I'm going to teach others how to do something great. Well, dude, you can't teach others how to do it because you haven't done it. I mean, there are plenty of super successful entrepreneurs I know who just love the process that they're in. And they love the doing of their thing or whatever the thing is, the growing of their business. For some reason, I'm one of these sick bastards who, after I achieved a certain level of success, I, for some reason, felt this need to share my experience with others, hoping that they could bypass all the heartache that I went through discovering this stuff. But yeah, there's a lot of people in this space that are getting it backwards. They think that, well, I'm just going to teach others to be great. And by doing that, I will be great myself. Well, I think what that will do for you is make you a fraud, to not mince my words.
Tell me how you really feel. Oh, man. Good stuff, Dan. So I'm digging it, and hopefully I didn't extend you out too long, but that is a wrap for another Off the Chain show. Thank you, K9 Crew, for tuning in, and we will be back in your earbuds next time. Thanks for listening, and remember, if you want to create rivers of revenue from your existing customers, then the next thing you need to do is go to DobermanDan.com. He's giving away a free copy of his $98 per month Doberman Dan letter just for listening to the show. Go to DobermanDan.com now and sign up for your free issue.
This is the podcastfactory.com.